We're back. Yes, we're in the closet. Yes, we just finished doing the voiceovers for the vlog, keeping it real with you guys. That is my microphone on a seat. Should probably buy a setup, but I haven't yet. Anyways, in this vlog, we play our first ever live stream at Peaks Dallas. It's a 1-2-5 game. There's plenty of fun hands to get into. If you want to play on it, it's every Thursday. I believe we started at 7 p.m. There's a number to text. Let me know if you want to play on it. Anyways, let's get into these hands. Let's go. All right, here we go. Yes, I sound pretty stuffed up. That's because I've been sick over the past few days, but I'm still going to record these voiceovers. Let's get into it. In the first hand, Scott opens from the +2 to $10. +3 calls, and I have King Jack off. Not going to say it, you disgusting freaks. I'm going to flick in the call as well, and so does the big blind. So 4 ways to a flop. It comes 8, King, 7, 2 spades. So plenty of straight and flush draws to get value from with our top pair. So when it checks to me, I'm going to size up here for 3/4 the size of the pot. I bet $30 and they all fold. Interesting hand. I know. But I'm only including it because there's probably 3 or 4 hands just like this that occurred at the beginning of this session, and just wanted to report one of them. Nothing crazy, but that's how the session started for us. On to the next hand, let's go. So we've been pretty card dead up until this point, but that is about to change. Amy opens to 10 from under the gun. Jonathan puts in a 3-bet to 30 from the +1. Scott calls in the hijack and it folds to me, and we look down at pocket aces. You love to see it. There's been a raise, a re-raise, and a call, and we have aces. So I'm going to put in a 4-bet here to $110. Would have probably liked the sizing of 125 or 140, being as that there's a caller of the 3-bet, but that's not what I did. I made it 110, and only Scott puts in the call. So we're going heads up to a flop. It comes pretty harmless. It comes 10, 4, 3, 2 diamonds, 1 club. Scott checks. I'm going to put out a small C-bet here, try to get value from other pocket pairs or 2 overs. I bet $75, and sadly he folds. So not a ton of action here with our pocket aces, but we still scoop a pretty nice pot. Onto the next. And this one, Ghost, which actually isn't his real name. I'm not going to say his name, though. We'll keep it anonymous. He raises a 25 from the hijack. I look down at Jack 10 offsuit in the cutoff. I'm going to flick in the call, and so does the button. So we're going 3 ways to a flop. Comes pretty good. It comes 3, Jack, 5. Ghost. Gosh, I want to say his name so bad. He checks. I bet $35, a little under half pot, and they both fold. So another easy hand, another pretty straightforward hand, but including it because that's literally the way this session is going. No complaints on my end, though. On to the next hand. Yes, I'm aware that I keep saying. On to the next hand. Deal with it. And this one, Scott raises to 10 from under the gun. I look down at Jack, Queen of spades in the hijack. I'm going to isolate him. I raise to $35. It folds back to Scott, who puts in the call. So we're going heads up to a pretty good flop. It comes Queen, 6, King, rainbow. There is a spade out there, so we have ourselves a pair. Backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, and the range advantage. So when Scott checks, I'm going to put out a continuation bet of $30, and Scott pretty quickly calls. Now, something to make note of is I know Scott to be a fairly tight player, so that is going to play a role with my decision making here on the turn when it comes to King of Hearts. Scott checks, and I think you definitely could make a case for betting here, but again, he's a tight player, so I think he's only going to call us with a king. I don't think he's going to be calling us here with a pocket pair, so I decide to check back and disguise the strength of my hand. River comes the ace of diamonds, and now Scott leads out for $100. I think about it for a while, but I can't really think of too many hands we're beating that he would be betting with, so I decide to fold, and it looks like that was the right fold because he shows King, Jack offsuit. So had us dominated the whole way. Happy to not get too sticky there on the river. On to the next hand. All right, I'm actually super pleased with how I played this hand. It folds over to Frederick in the cutoff. He raises to $30. Sham decides to get out of line here and put in a 3-bet with the ace deuce offsuit to $100, and I look down at pocket jacks. Not gonna lie, wasn't very happy to see these. Always hard to play pocket jacks, but being as that there was a raise from the cutoff and a 3-bet from the button, pocket jacks should be good, even though they never are. But they should be good here. So I'm gonna put in a 4-bet here to $250. Now real quick, I thought I had $750 in my stack, so I was thinking if I put in a 4-bet to $250 and somebody calls, I'll have about a pot-sized bet left for the flop if there's no ace, king, or queen. But yeah, I'll let y'all hear what Dan thinks about my sizing.
Hey, what happens when you go to a flop with jacks and you have 1/2 SPR? With jacks, no big deal. You give yourself a chance to fold on like a Queen King Ace board.
So really good explanation there. Not what I was going for, but if it was what I was going for, that'd be pretty smart. but it wasn't. Anyways, it folds back over to Frederick, and he is just too good. He's gonna fold his pocket tens. I thought he'd put it all in there, to be honest. Whoa, pause. But he doesn't. He's just too good. He folds his pocket tens, and obviously Sham is going to get the heck out of there with its ace deuce offsuit. So we're gonna scoop a good amount of dead money onto the next hand. All right, this next one's an interesting one. We look down at king queen offsuit in the cutoff. I open it up to $15 and only the blinds call. Off to a flop, it comes 3 queen 6 2 clubs. So we flop ourselves top pair. Checks to me. I'm gonna bet a little over half pot for $25 and only ram calls with his flush draw. Off to a pretty interesting turn. It comes the 10 of hearts. So now Ram has himself a pair with a flush draw. So when he checks, I'm gonna size up here. I bet $65. Should have probably sized up to a pot size bet or an overbet here, but after thinking about it for a while, Ram decides to flick in the call. Looks like he was considering putting in a raise there. Glad he didn't. That would have put me in a pretty tough spot. Anyways, off to a river. It comes a horrendous 5 of clubs. Ram checks. Really no sense in betting here. I'm going to check this one back, and he wins with the king high flush. So not happy with the result, but I'm going to give you guys a great tip here. If you put money in while you're ahead and you check or fold when you're behind, you're going to be a winning poker player. Go ahead and write that one down. On to the next hand. All right, here we go. Hand of the session. Something to make note of is that the knit game is on. So keep that in mind. We're doing $15 ahead. So if you lose, you have to pay out $120. And I don't plan on losing. Anyways, Sham opens it up with Jack 8 suited from the +3. I look down at king queen offsuit. I'm going to put in the 3-bet here from the hijack. Folds back to Sham, who puts in the call. Flop comes pretty good, so I thought. It comes 8-8 queen. Yikes. As y'all can see, we are in bad shape, but there's no way that I know that. I'm thinking we're good, so when Sham checks, I down bet to $30 and he puts in the call. When he calls, I'm putting him on a middling pocket pair. Still think we're good. Could have a worse queen like jack queen or queen 10. So happy to see a brick 6 on the turn. Sham checks, and I do contemplate putting it in a bet here, but I don't think king queen with just one pair is a good enough hand to get 3 streets of value with. I think we're better off checking here and picking off some bluffs on the river or going for some thin value ourselves. So I check this one back off to a river. It comes another 6, and now Sham bets, but he bets $400. Now, like I said, the plan was to pick off some bluffs, but what bluffs does he have here? I think he has a lot of ace highs. I don't think he's doing this with any pocket pair. I think he'd be happy to get the showdown unless he got counterfeit with a hand like pocket 4s, pocket 5s, pocket 3s. You get it. But again, the plan was to call on the river. Just because it's a huge overbet doesn't mean we can chicken out and fold. I'm going to put in the call, Sham. And yeah, he shows jack 8 suited. So we get completely owned by Sham in this hand. And if you think this is over, Sham, let me get close to this mic so you can hear this. Think again. It ain't over until I take your entire bankroll and then some. On to the next hand. So not only did we lose that hand, we still have our stupid knit button. Now the $10 straddle is on in this hand and it folds to me in the cutoff. I look down at king deuce suited. I'm going to raise that up to $35. Amy calls, being as that she still has her knit button, and the straddler calls as well. Off to a flop, it comes 6 queen king. That's about all I can ask for. We got ourselves top pair and a backdoor flush draw. So when it checks to me, I'm going to bet $40, and thankfully they both fold. We get rid of that knit button. Thank God. On to the next hand. All right, that leads us to the last hand of the session. Yes, last hand. Didn't get a whole lot of playable hands. This was about a 4.5-hour stream, and these are all the hands I have to go over. Anyways, the double straddle is on for $20. And I'm first to act. I look down at pocket jacks. I raise it to $50. Could probably go a little bit larger. Folds over to Jello. Shout out to Next Gen Poker. He's in the first straddle. He flicks in the call, and so does our new rival, Sham God. Off to a pretty bad flop. It comes 7-5-4, all spades. So we do have ourselves an overpair, but this absolutely cremates, smashes, destroys their calling or straddle calling range, whatever that looks like. Anyways, I think that this board really, really favors them. That's what I'm getting at. Jello checks, and now Sham decides to take the betting lead, and he bets $75, and I hate this spot. But our hand is just too strong to fold, I think. I mean, there's a lot of hands we're still ahead of, but we're going to have to be pretty cautious here on the turn. So I stick in the call, and Jello folds. Off to a turn, it comes the king of spades, which may seem like a bad card when you first see it. But if you think a little bit harder, we're going to have all the ace high flushes in our range. If I had a hand like ace king with the ace of spades or ace queen with the ace of spades, I would call that turn bet. I would raise pre-flop. So y'all get what I'm trying to say. When Sham checks, I'm gonna put out a small bet here, just like I would if I did indeed turn the nuts. Well, I guess I wouldn't be the nuts with an ace high flush. You get what I'm saying. If I turned an ace high flush, this is what I would do. I bet $75 and Sham folds. Take that, Sham. Anyways, we get some money back from Sham. We still got a lot to go, but we're gonna scoop the last hand of the session. Thank you guys for tuning in. On to the next. No, I'm just kidding. There's no more hands. All right, that is it for this vlog. Yes, we are outside. It's no longer hot in Texas. May look like I'm sweating, but I'm not. Here are the results though. Into the game for 1,000, cashed out for $710. That's a loss of $290 on our first ever stream. That's okay though, because the day that this vlog drops, I'll be playing in the same stream again. There will be a link on my Instagram page. If you don't follow me, it's Sam Queso Poker, just like on all the other platforms. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Hope y'all enjoyed the fast commentary. Wait, that's the word, right? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't already liked, comment, and subscribed, please do so. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.